So if you're like me and you're trying to eradicate fossil fuels from your life, then at some point you need to contemplate what you're going to do about your mowing. And so my poor old mower that had served me for 20 years went off to the recycling centre, and I decided to buy some new cordless tools, both mower and strimmer. The great thing about these tools is that they run on a cordless system which uses a 40-volt battery. These are the same battery they used in the mower and the strimmer, and you can charge them up from your normal power supply, or you can decide to make something else. Okay, short disclaimer. Please only do this sort of thing if you're competent to do so, and always work safe. So over the winter I decided to make a small renewable energy system. Now if you're going to do something like this for yourself, I wouldn't bother with the wind turbine because it puts a fraction of the energy in that the solar panel does. But the PV panel is the main thing. Here is a 50-watt panel, and you really don't need any more than that. I've dumped nearly half of the energy that I produce, so please don't have anything larger. To be honest, you could probably get away with around a 30-watt panel, and it would do most of the kind of energy that you need in a typical system to power your mowers and strimmers, etc. You're going to need some extra equipment, and my system, to be honest, is oversized for what I need. I've got a couple of 130 amp batteries here, deep cycle leisure batteries, along with an inverter, solar power controller, dump controller, and some meters, just so I can see what's going on. The meters aren't strictly necessary, but they're kind of nice to actually see how much energy you produced and what you're using. Okay, let's just talk about inverters for a minute. The inverter I use is this little Bestec 300-watt pure sine wave inverter, and it's important to get the right type in. Don't go and get a huge great inverter because it just uses a lot of energy unnecessarily and it's inefficient. When I plug in any of the batteries, really, the larger 40-volt ones, they draw an absolute maximum of around 100 watts. I've never managed to get it up much above 150 watts, even with other batteries charging at the same time, so it's just simply not necessary. The pure sine wave, though, is really important because it will make sure that your equipment is compatible and that you don't have any issues, particularly if you're going to charge things like iPads, iPhones, laptops and the like. So I can really recommend this inverter. It's really good. So you got your system together and now you need to connect it up. Let's see how we do it. So we connect from the solar panel to the charge controller, and then from the charge controller down to the battery. Off of the battery terminals we connect up to the inverter and across to the dump controller, and then from the dump controller to the dump load itself. If we want to add some additional meters in there, we can connect them into the cables between the solar charge controller and the battery, so we can measure how much solar energy we've had, and from the battery to the inverter so that we can see how much energy we've used. Now you might be able to see that I actually use just a simple light bulb as the dump load. It's just a 21-watt light bulb that you might use in a car for your braking light or something like that. It works very well for what I need. So here is some of the kit that I've used. As I mentioned before, you could get away with a smaller solar panel, maybe 30-watt kit, which would save a bit. And the meters are an optional thing, so you don't necessarily need those. I used probably about 5 meters of cable, I suppose, in there as well. These prices are all of 2023. So you're looking at an investment somewhere around £250 to £300 to set up a little system like this. So as you might have seen, I use this system to charge up all sorts of other things, power tools, anything I've got really has got a battery, but it's a bit of a pain taking them outside. So what I do is I use a simple battery here from Lidl's, Parkside stuff, and this little adapter on the top here, and that has a couple of USB ports that I can then use to charge up iPhones and iPads and things like that, and it's really convenient. It lasts for several days and then I just recharge it up again. So how does this stack up in terms of financial side of things? Well, I think I used around about 20 litres of petrol last year, which is roughly about £30, plus about a quarter of a litre of two-stroke oil, which is about £5, so about £35 worth of fuel per year. And of course the cost of the system, well, I think with a 30-watt panel and cutting things right down, you could build a system for around £200. So that's roughly about a 6-year payback. In terms of carbon, well, I think we're saving about 50 kilograms per year, something like that. I just wanted to say something quickly about these Hyundai mowers. They're unbelievable, really amazing pieces of kit. Every bit as good as the petrol mowers and strimmers that I had before. No issues at all with them. They've been really reliable, and they cut through, really quite long grass, etc. So I'm really pleased with them. So look, I know mowing's not going to be at the top of the list of things to decarbonise, but hopefully this was useful to somebody. And let me know if you've done something similar, and give us a thumbs up if you like it. Thanks.